Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. If you are new to my page, my name is Alison Wellington, certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with busy professional women to teach them how to attract and keep the husbands that they deserve. I do that in three separate ways. Number one, through my 12-month mentorship program, The Partner You Deserve, where I teach my clients how to navigate dating successfully to help them get into the best relationships of their lives in under 12 months. Number two, it's through my international exclusive retreats, beach retreats, because I'm really passionate about the beach. And this year we are going to St. Martin. We already have 16 amazing ladies who have registered, and we have one room left. So make sure that you go to my website, alignwithalison.com, or you could click the link in my bio, click the link in the description, and there is one room left for Ready, Set, Love Retreat. And the final way that I help women get into the best relationships of their lives is through my private Patreon group, which is called the Future Wives Club. There's a 7-day free trial. I'll make sure that I include that link in the description and in the comments. It's already linked in my bio. It's already on my website, alignwithalison.com. So there is no excuse and no reason for you to transform your love life in 2026. I'll say it again. There is no excuse. There is no reason that you cannot transform your love life in 2026. My clients are tall, short, thin, thick, old, young, black, not moms, divorcees, never been married, in the United States, in Canada, in Asia, and in Africa so far, and the UK. With that being said, there is no excuse to get your love life in order in 2026 if you have decided that this is something that you are serious about, if you have decided that this is something that you are prepared to show up for, like how you showed up for all your degrees, like how you showed up for your high paid job, like you showed up to build that business from scratch, like you showed up to heal yourself through therapy, like you showed up to heal your physical with the trainer. You've done all of these things to show up and do the work for yourself. This is the last piece, and I'm here to help. Well, with that being said, before we get into what we're discussing today, which today we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A. I have a little extra time for y'all. So we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A, and I'm going to copy the link for YouTube only. Actually, I think Facebook might be able to see this. So I have copy and pasted the link for you to join me here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. But the only people who are able to see this link and the only people that are able to click on this link are those who are watching me on YouTube or on Facebook. So I would highly recommend, if you have a question and you want me to answer it, then what you're going to do is you're going to join me on YouTube, Align with Alison, same name, same spelling. You could click the link in my bio. You can comment the word YouTube and the link will automatically be sent if you're watching this on Instagram, and you can join us and you can ask your questions live right now around dating and relationships, and I'll be more than happy to help you. As a matter of fact, hey, Sophia, I'm on live. All right, bye. All right, this is my sister, y'all. Sorry, she has a breakthrough. There's only a very few people that have breakthrough, and she's one of them. So with that being said, if you, let me put, have a question, click the link on in the comments, in the chat, I guess I should say, in the chat on YouTube. There we go. And then let me copy and paste that. So it's easy peasy, chicken greasy, as my daughter says. Okay, so boom. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, you have the instructions. Boom. Let me give the instructions to, actually, let's see, comment. Sometimes I copy and paste this before I come on to here for y'all, but I did not do that today. Forgive me in advance. For the link. Here we go. Hopefully I spelled everything right and I'm not embarrassing myself. Let me pin it. Okay, good. Here we go. All right, folks. So again, if you are just coming in, Wednesday we do a live Q&A. We have, is it Chocolate Tia? Have I got that right? Hello, Chocolate. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you have a question, you're coming in through YouTube. It's the only way that you'll be able to access the link. So come on to YouTube, click the link so you could join me, join us on screen, and you can ask your question. In the meantime, in between time, I very strategically wore this shirt. I don't know if you guys can see the collar, if you can see the sleeves. Well, I feel like Superman, Spider-Man, right? Because what I'm talking about around you guys is Q&A. So feel free to join me on YouTube. You can ask a question. But in the meantime, in between time, we're talking about love is not enough. Love is not enough. Love is not enough. And it doesn't matter if you are a man or a woman. I am sure that many of us have experienced being in a relationship with someone who you loved and may have potentially loved you too, but it not being enough. And so what we're talking about today, as I wait for folks to come in for the Q&A, if they so fit, I understand it could be a little bit nerve-wracking to come on live to talk about your love life. So if you feel like it, come on to YouTube. The link is right in the chat waiting for you. If you don't, I completely understand. We will be having a private training and Q&A on Thursday, February 12th. It's called The Partner You Deserve, where I'm going to be teaching my 5-step proprietary approach on what I teach my clients to get them into the best relationship of their lives in under 12 months. If you're watching this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the link is in my bio. It's called The Partner You Deserve, a live training on February the 12th. So we'll have that private time there. If you want, it's $27, right? If you don't, that's okay. You can come on live and you can ask your question. You just have to come onto YouTube. So again, fix my sleeves. Love is not enough. Many of us have had experiences. Many of us have been in romantic relationships where we were in love or they were in love with us, or it was both. And any way it goes, either way we look at that equation, we've realized, because we're not in relationship with them anymore, that love in and of itself is not enough. And especially as we get older, and there is an expectation of new levels of commitment. There's an expectation of behaviors. There's an expectation of financial stability. We live in a capitalistic society. We cannot pretend like that doesn't matter. Sometimes love is not enough. And so we have to be honest with ourselves to say, I love him. And I love that for you, right? And I say that sarcastically. I love that for you. I love the fact that you love him. As a matter of fact, let me not be shady. I do love the fact that you love him. That means you have the capacity to love. Great. Just not him. Just not her. Potentially just not each other, right? And so as we are getting older and there's an expectation of, I desire marriage. I desire children. I'd like to buy a house. I want to move. I'd like to set my parents up financially. I'd like to set my children up financially. I prioritize my family. They do not prioritize their family. They still think that they're in high school. They want to hang out with their friends when they have responsibilities up in this house. Whatever the values may be, and you realize that you are out of alignment, it is in your best interest to exit stage left. Now, I am still going viral. I'm getting cursed out left, right, and center. I'm not even clicking on the comments. I made a mistake today. I saw it. I saw a little thing. It wasn't that bad, so I responded to it because I absolutely advocate for moving the hell on. You have to move on from relationships, from situationships that are not serving you. Oh, that's so selfish. Oh, that's so shallow. You hear classic lines, especially that I see online from gentlemen, because the men who are online and have time to argue, is a different conversation, right? But I see these conversations and it's about, women are constantly choosing happiness. Like that's like their number one thing. And meaning that if they are not happy in their romantic relationship, they will leave. Number one, I've seen time and time again for years and years and years that women will not choose their own individual happiness. They will choose what society deems is the way that they should be living. They will choose their partner. They will choose their children over their own happiness. So that's number one. And even if that is the case, I don't think that's a female thing. I don't think that's a womanly thing. A womanly thing is, I am not happy, therefore I will leave. A masculine thing is, I am not happy, therefore I will step out. Now, If you think that one is more virtuous than the other, I can't call it. I would prefer for someone to tell me that they are no longer interested in me. They no longer want to be with me. They no longer want to see me, and they want to see other people. That would be my preference. I would not call them childish. I would not call them shallow. I would not call them selfish. I would be thankful for their honesty versus the alternative, which is to step out, but I still come home, right? I mistreat my partner so that I can force their hand into breaking up with me, which many of men have admitted to doing. Oh, I don't want to be the bad guy. You are the bad guy if you mistreat somebody. They become mean to force your hand. No, instead, let's just be forthcoming. I'm not happy. You're not happy. It's in our best interest to exit stage left, right? And so love not being enough is not something that one should see as unhealthy. If a man is not happy in his romantic relationship, after putting in the effort, after putting in the work, after working on themselves, after potentially seeing a therapist or a counselor, then they should leave. And if a woman is not happy in her romantic relationship, after being reflective, after taking accountability for the role that she played, after working on herself, after seeking wisdom, wise counsel, then she should move on. But instead, what we do is we attach ourselves to people that we have no business continuing to attach ourselves to. And then we have the audacity to blame somebody else. The audacity. I was on the phone with my best friend today, and she was telling a story about, she saw some article, she saw some post with a woman who was with a gentleman for 7 years, 7 years. And he did not want to get married, and she finally ended the relationship. And my friend went on to say, he wasted her time. I said, absolutely not. I'm going to push back on this. There is this ideology that I like to fight, right? Because as a woman, I'm going to be biased, just like men are going to be biased for men. That's the nature of the game, right? And there is this ideology that women don't take accountability. And I hate that for us. I hate the idea of not taking accountability. I hate that we're attached to that. There is some validity to that idea when we say things like, he wasted our time. He didn't do anything to you. You wasted your time by continuing to be in a relationship. And these people were 45 years old, which means they started the relationship at 38 years old. 38. Our ancestors were dying at 38. Right? We're in a midlife at 38. They were dying, right? Life expectancy. 38, 45, 7 years later, she ended it because he was not moving towards marriage. And we're going to say that he wasted her time. We have to take accountability. And let me tell you what's so beautiful about accountability. I know that, again, notoriously, women don't take it. But for anyone who you have to be reflective to even know that you're not taking it. But if you are aware, like, damn, I really do put it on other people. I don't take accountability for my crap, right? I don't take accountability for my mistakes. If you at least are willing to say that to yourself, I want you to think about how empowering accountability is. Because if it were someone else who were able to pull the control you like a puppet, right? Then that means that you have no autonomy. You have no say over your life. You have no responsibility, and it is just happening to you. What a terrible life to live. What a terrible life to live. Jokingly, we say as adults that, adulting is ghetto. And even I posted, like, I wish I was back in my childhood. I absolutely don't. I do not wish to be back into my childhood. A little less responsibilities, but why is it less responsibilities? Because you have no rights. You can't control what you eat, when you eat it, when you go to sleep, what kind of television you could watch. I remember the first time I turned the key in the lock of my first apartment. I was elated. I could walk around naked if I wanted to. I could wash the dishes when I wanted to. Thank God that I was an independent human being who made decisions for myself. So when you take accountability and when you take responsibility for your life and your life choices, it is amazing. Because then you have full control over your life. And it's not happenstance. And it's not luck. And things don't just happen to you. And stuff doesn't just fall into your lap. You have control. That's beautiful. That means you can create whatever life you desire. You can create whatever life you desire once you are physically capable and able. Please don't come in the comments and say, oh, this is so ableist, right? Assuming that you're able, assuming that your mind is functioning fully, assuming that your body is functioning fully, you have full control over your life. It's not happenstance. It's not luck. It just doesn't happen. So when you say that you were in a relationship that didn't work out, you are partly responsible for that. That's beautiful, which means that you can change things. You can change how you show up. You can change the men or the women that you are choosing. And then that way you can have the romantic life that you desire. If you're saying, oh my God, I have a terrible job, I hate it, all the things they do to me. No, I continuously show up. I am not on Indeed. I am not working on my resume. I am not finding grants or looking for financial aid so I can get another degree or another certification so I can change up. The beautiful thing is, oh, I don't have to stay at this job. I'm not regimented to this relationship. I don't have to stay in this neighborhood. I don't have to keep these lack of edges. I don't have to be unhealthy. I have the capacity. I have the desire. I have the drive. I have the capability to change things. Maybe I might need to go to Google. I might have to read a book. I might have to take a class. I might have to use YouTube University. I might have to hire a coach or a therapist or a consultant or a trainer, but I can do it. That's beautiful. But love in and of itself is not enough. Love is going to keep you trapped. There has to be more than love in your romantic life in order for it to be fulfilling and sustainable. I love my husband, and it's reasonable that we're together. We work well together as partners. If it was just I loved him and he loved me, that would die. Because the first couple of times he would piss me off, or the first couple of times I would piss him off, it'd be over then. No, we have a partnership. We're under a covenant. We've decided that we wanted children together. We decided that we wanted to parent these children in a very particular way. We have agreements. We have vows. We have decisions that we've made together that we are going to carry through for the rest of our lives, God willing. It's not just love alone. Chocolate, if I could call you just Chocolate, if that's okay. How do you break up with a decent man that you know may not be walking towards marriage by his lack of planning for the future? This is an excellent question. How do I break up with a decent man that I know may not be walking towards marriage by his lack of planning for the future? So I'll ask you this, and I'll still give you advice as you give me more feedback in the chat. How long have you been together, and how old are the both of you? The reason why I ask is because I want to make sure that whatever the advice is going to be reasonable and fair. If we're talking about it's been a year or 2 years, if we're talking about you guys are younger, like 30 or younger, then I would ask that you give some grace and give some time. And I would also ask that you have these conversations if you haven't had them. I do think it's unreasonable to walk out on a relationship if we have not made it abundantly clear, ideally from the beginning, and we can't go back in time, but ideally from the beginning, what we desire. You know, I do want to have another child. I don't want children. My vision is that I'll be retiring at this age and moving here, blah, 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 right? So with all that being said, I think it's reasonable that we have these conversations from the get-go. This is the vision I have for my life, right? And we're not saying this part, but this is the reality. Whether or not you're the guy who's in it remains to be seen. Whether or not you're the woman who's in it remains to be seen. This is the vision I have for my life. I'd like to be married in the next couple of years. I'd like to buy a house, maybe my second property. I'm thinking about going back to school. I have a son, as you know. I would like to have one more child. I want no children. Whatever the vision is, you should be expressing that early in the game before he's even a factor. Phone call, first date. So obviously, I'm not talking about me and you getting married. Obviously, I'm not talking about me and you buying a house, me and you having a baby. I'm sharing what my vision is for my life, and then he gets to share his vision. Right? That's ideal. Now, in this particular case, we can't rewind the hands of time. We are where we are now. So Chocolate shared that he's 36, she's 42, and they've been together for 2 years. Okay, this is some good context. So first thing, Chocolate, I want to say this. We also have to be mindful of when we date younger men, right? We have to be mindful of when we date younger men, they aren't necessarily going to be on our speed. Now, of course, that's a very general statement. However, we need to be mindful that generally speaking, women tend to move towards these more serious steps in life faster than men in general. And then now you're talking about you're 6 years his senior. We had to have had an expectation that he would not be necessarily moving at the same speed, especially 6 years in this particular age. 36 is a very reasonable time for him to be married. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's not like he's 40 and you're 46, right? So 36 in this day and age is a good time to be getting married, right? Yes, 36 is grown. 36 is grown. We're 2 years in. What has the conversation been? Have you made it clear to him from the get-go? Are you making it clear now that marriage is what you desire? And what is he saying explicitly? That's what you need to ask yourself. Did I say it from the beginning? No. Am I saying it now? Yes. What is he saying explicitly? Any kind of dancing around, there's my shoulder lean, right? Any kind of dancing around the question of, I desire marriage. What's your vision? I want to have more children. What do you desire? What are you thinking about? Do you want more children? Do you want children at all? These are things that a 36-year-old man or a 36-year-old person should be able to answer expeditiously. Yes, I want marriage. Yes, I want children. I think a good time to weigh and make sure that both parties are a good fit is 2 to 3 years. If you can't articulate that, and if he can't articulate that, and if your guy, whoever's listening, cannot articulate that, then that already tells me all I need to know. He either doesn't believe in marriage or he doesn't believe in marriage with you. He either doesn't want children or he doesn't want children with you. He either doesn't want to live with a woman or he doesn't want to live with you. Any way we slice and dice it, that means that you're out of the equation. So you have to decide whether or not you're okay with potentially never getting married. You have to decide whether or not you're okay with potentially never having children or being pressured into having children, not doing it ideally, right? Because we're not going to fall for that pressure. That's a pressure you should never fall for. You cannot undo it once the baby is here. At least with marriage, you can get an annulment or a divorce, right? So with that being said, if you didn't have the conversation before, you need to have the conversation now. And what the answer is what the answer is. As soon as the two of you became committed at this grown age, his thoughts should already be thinking, do I want marriage? Did I want it before? Do I want it now? Do I want it with her? What's a reasonable time? Did I ever want marriage? Do I want it with her? What's a reasonable time? So you should be able to ask that question clearly. And if he is not able to answer it immediately, expeditiously, and straightforwardly, if that's a word, then you already have your answer. Okay. So Chocolate says, I said it from the beginning. I check in with him and he seems positive about it. Okay, so then why are you thinking that things are not moving in the right direction? When you said seems positive, I need something explicit, right? So the gentlemen, at least the ones online, the gentlemen like to say about how decisive they are and they are natural born leaders and that's their role and responsibility in a romantic relationship and in society and all these great things about men and what they do and what they offer and how desirable they are and how they can never be replaced and how society would never be as good with them versus without them. So good. With that being said, you should be able to answer a yes or no question. So you say positive about it, but with that being said, make sure that it's explicit, right? You ask my husband now, when did he know he wanted to marry me? He could give you a date. He can give you an event. Right? This is not anything that we have to pussyfoot around. All right. Hi, Allison. Could you also discuss the concept of practical love in addition to romantic love? Love is building healthy long-term relationships and marriage. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I read that right. We might be missing some a comma or a period, but it can absolutely be me. Could we also discuss pragma love, practical love, in addition to romantic love? In building healthy long-term relationships and marriage. Okay, I think I got that. I think I got that right. I think I read that correctly. All right, you're good. Okay, good. Sorry, I lost the comment. So with that being said, yes. Or if you want to share a little bit, Mackie, I'd love to hear more about what you think around practical love, right? So with that being said, you absolutely need to be friends with your spouse or with your partner. Now, I did have a reel that some folks did not like that was talking about, what did I say? It was talking something along the lines of your spouse not being your best friend, right? And I'm going to say it again. I don't think that that's a necessity. And I actually think that you're putting too much on your spouse if you expect them to be your best friend, your everything. That was really the point, was your everything. It can't be your everything, right? So anywho, with all that being said, We absolutely need to be friends with our spouse. You should be liking your spouse as a person. When you like your spouse as a person, which I think is one of the biggest problems with marriages and relationships, is a lot of times folks don't. I don't feel like arguing with people in the comments today. So I'm going to say folks, and y'all go read between the lines when I say folks. I feel like folks don't like their partner. I don't think they like the whole sex. I don't know why, because if anyone should be if one sex should be upset with another sex, that shouldn't be the way that things go. I don't really get it, right? Nonetheless, I think of many times that there's a partner who is not a fan of the entire sex. They're heterosexual, they are sexually attracted, but they find us annoying. They find, generally speaking, they find us difficult. Um, they don't think that we're smart. I think that's the case for a lot of folks. Not most, but many, enough to make dating more difficult than what it should be. So, with that being said, you absolutely need to be friends with your spouse. You need to like them as a human being. You need to like them as a human being in order for the relationship to do well, because then you would be considerate of them. I am considerate of my husband, not only because I love him romantically, but because that's my dog. I like him as a person. And so I want him to be happy and I want him to do well. I'll give you a perfect example. So, not this morning, but yesterday morning, our little baby Phoenix woke up at 4:50 a.m. Of course, men don't tend to hear babies cry magically, and so I hear her cry and I'm the one who goes to get her, and I'm stuck with her at 4:50 a.m. When my husband and my other baby did wake up at 7, I told him, hey, this baby woke up at 4:50. I'm telling you now, I'm clocking out at 7:30, right? That's when the baby goes down, and now we have the toddler. That's the only one that's awake. I'm clocking out, meaning I'm not parenting. Don't call me, don't text me. I'm not available, right? I'm clocking out. I clocked in early, so I'm clocking out early, even Stevens, right? I then forgot that he was working overnight. He took on an extra shift, right? Valentine's Day, wink, wink. He took on an extra shift. So you know what? Is it really going to kill me to clock back in at 7:30 and then stay up for an extra hour and be active and present to 8:30 while he and I put down the toddler? No. I didn't do that because I love him as my husband. I did that because I like him as my friend. And I knew that he was going to be extra tired. And so I'm not going to give him extra work if it's unnecessary, if I can push through. You absolutely need to be friends. You should love them more than romantically, which is why I wore my shirt. It should be more than just romantically. Okay. All right, Chocolate, this is the last one I'm going to take from you. He never talks about the future. He doesn't bring up hard topics. I wouldn't expect him to bring up hard topics, but if you said that when the two of you talk about romance, it's positive, so that means that he is talking about the future with you. He's just not bringing it up. So again, I need hard and fast. What is your vision? What are your thoughts? What are our next steps? Where do you see us going in the next 5 years? Don't ever ask that. That's for Chocolate. That's not for y'all. Do not ask that question on the first date. It is just as distasteful as what do you bring to the table. For her, who's in a romantic relationship, who needs a hard and fast answer, who's been with this guy for 2 years, right? So with that being said, you need to have the hard conversation. Where do you see us in the next 3 to 5 years? And then hold him to it. And that will be your answer. All right. I hope that was helpful. All right. I'm coming in on Instagram. I'm checking y'all comments because y'all never do what y'all supposed to do and y'all don't join me where y'all supposed to join me. Please come over to YouTube so you can ask your questions on YouTube. And if you are just joining us, I will be hosting a live training, private live training on Thursday, February the 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern, The Partner You Deserve. It'll be 2 parts. The first part, I'll be teaching my 5-step proprietary system that I use with my clients to get them into the best relationships of their lives in 12 months or less. And then at the end, there will be an offer to work with me at a discounted rate as well as a Q&A. Okay. So if you want something that's more private, then make sure that you join us for the training. It's $27 and you will get the replay that night. Good? Great. All right, folks. I think this will be a perfect opportunity for me to exit stage left. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this again. There is more to a successful relationship than love alone. We have to make sure that the two of us have the same vision, the same desire, and the same drive to get that vision done. That vision can look like creating a healthy relationship and a safe space where we can be our authentic selves. That vision can be raising children to be happy and healthy and contributing citizens to society. That could be generational wealth, whatever your goals are. Love is not enough. And many times, love in and of itself is keeping you stuck and holding you back from building the life that you desire. And thank God that you have free will. So, whatever it is that you want out of life, you want to make more money, you want to live a healthier lifestyle, you want to have an amazing romantic family, you want to change the world, you want to take over the world like Pinky and the Brain. Whatever your vision is for your life, you have the capacity to do it. You have to create a plan and you have to execute it. And if you need help with that execution, reach out to the people who are already living that life and they'll be able to guide and direct you. Again, Thursday, February 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern, The Partner You Deserve. I'm going to be teaching my 5-step proprietary system on how I get my clients into the best relationship of their lives in 12 months or less. I'll also have a discounted offer to work with me going into the rest of this year. And lastly, we'll have a private Q&A where I can answer your questions around my mentorship, dating, relationships, or what have you. It's $27. And if you can't make it on live, you'll get the replay that night. All right, folks, the link is in my bio. The link will be pinned here on YouTube, on Facebook. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can comment or DM the word deserve. Comment or DM the word deserve, and I'll send you the link as well. There is no excuse to not show up differently in 2026. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure. I got to go get my babies. Bye.